Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Jericho here. We're going to take a look at our lab design project. And right now we're taking a look at an assembly of the product that we're looking to create. You can see we've got the shade, we've got our LED, and we've got our battery box. Now if we want to go ahead and start producing these products, it's great to have drawings. You know how big things are, how they measure in relation to each other. So to create a drawing, we're going to go ahead and hit the plus sign here. I'm going to choose create a drawing. When we do that, we're going to get some options. We're going to choose the basic ANSI A template that you all have. We're going to choose no views and click OK. This will open up a blank sheet of paper for us, at least mostly blank. It'll have some things set up we'll talk about later, but this is your drawing page with some of your standards like a title block that has information about your drawing and some borders that help you with reading the drawing. We're going to go ahead, when we open this up, you can see that it has the select part or assembly insert parts window already up. We're going to find our part that we want to create and click on it. The part comes in. Right now we can see our view scale is set to 1:1. If we want to go with a larger or smaller scale, we can select that over here. The front view, as it was selected as we drew it in modeling space. So if you come over here and find the front view, that's the front view. That's what's going to automatically be placed in there. We can choose different views over here. We want to choose the top, left, right, otherwise. For example, we want to flip it to the back view, we can do that. And then just place our first view. When you click that first view, you're automatically selected in the projected view option pops up next. So now the next view you put will be projected from the first view. So this is our first view, our front view. And we're going to go ahead and produce a projected view. And then if we want to create another projected view, we just click on the space or click on the view we would like to project from. Go back to our front view and then move our mouse up and choose another spot. We want to come up here and put a pictorial view up here. Once again, just hover over the view you'd like to project from. So we're going to go back to the front view. Again, our projected view button is still selected. So click and release and move the mouse up and click. Now that we have our projected views in position, we're going to go ahead and escape out of that tool by either clicking on it one more time or hitting the escape key on your keyboard. I'll go ahead and right click and choose to show my shaded view on the pictorial view, and then we can go. Now we're ready. Go ahead and start applying dimensions. Dimensions are important because they tell us how big things are and how they relate to each other. We have lots of dimensioning rules that we need to follow, so make sure you refer to the dimensioning guidelines provided when you're doing this, and just do your best to try to make sure you describe everything as clearly and easily as possible. One thing you'll notice as I reposition these views, you can see that they're linked to each other. And that's really helpful because we want to make sure that we keep them lined up so it's easier to read. First dimension features I'm going to put in, I'm going to go ahead and notice that I have some round stuff. So we're going to go ahead and add center marks. I have a center mark, which will allow me to show where the center of my rounded features are. And since we have a rounded feature here, we're going to add the center line in between those to show that that is at least partially round. Now that I have my center marks in place, we can go ahead and start adding the measurement dimensions. I always like to start with the biggest dimension first, because those are really critical. So I need to have an overall depth. I need to have an overall height. And then we need to have an overall width. From there, we need to go ahead and add other important details, like how thick are things. So we have a round component at the bottom, and we have a round component in the front. Well, let's see. To add a dimension to a cylinder or a round, we just click on the edge of the circle or arc and pull out, and then click. Here we have another arc, so we're going to drag that out and then click. Try to avoid having the leader lines or extension lines cross the objects if you can. And do, of course, make sure that you're providing dimensions in the most true views. So I am going to run into a problem here because this is a round feature. So we need to add a center line. And we're going to turn on our hidden lines. Escape from that and right click here, show hide, show hidden lines. There you go. This now gives us the ability to see what's inside the object. You can see I need to add a center mark for that. Add my center mark. And now we have depth. And we have a width there. So that's going to show us the diameter of the post. Let's see, what else do we need? We need to know, we need to know the height of the center. So go back to our regular dimension. Center marks are really important for us because they help us figure out where circles are. Circles and arcs are defined by their center points. So there we have it. We have the height. And we don't know where it is left to right, so we're going to actually, we do know where it's left to right because it's centered. So we can see that should cover all of our details because from the left to right standpoint, we're on the center of the cylinder. We're on the center of this J portion, so that those arcs are aligned with each other. That center line is that round portion is aligned with each other. The diameter of the this post is identified there. The height of the bottom of the J is there. The height of the top of the J is there. We don't need to dimension the thickness because that's known as the difference between this radius and that radius. So we know that that's a 1/4 inch across. Also, when we go to build it, it will just be. You can't make a circle. You can't make an object that has 2 radii without that measurement being the same. So you have that. What are we missing? Thickness. All right, so there's really no good way to get in there and measure that. And we know, because when we created this was a shell of a particular thickness. So I can just hollow this out and put a note on here. So I've got a note tool. Just going to click note. I'm going to say note in all caps. Make sure we have a caps lock on. So note, colon, shell thickness. Zero 0.050. Hit the green check. The escape key so I can drag that tool out. And there you have it. So now we know the shell thickness of the hollow inside is 50 thousandths. The depth is 500 thousandths. width is 1 inch even. We have an overall height. So those are 3 major dimensions. We know the arc of the inner and the outer of the J. We know the diameter of the post. We know the height of the center, which tells us everything else we need to know. And we know that their centers are aligned with each other. So there you have it, a fully dimensioned drawing. When you go ahead and do your dimensions in your drawing, you'll be asking yourself the same questions. Did I dimension everything? Is it clear and easy to read? Could somebody else build what I just built? Hope this works out for you. Have fun. As always, keep being awesome.